She mistook her gun for her taser when she shot and killed the unarmed black man during a traffic stop. The jury deciding she should have known better. Daunte Wright's parents, they're relieved by the guilty verdict, but they say it will never bring their son back.
There's no sentence that she can get that will be as punishable as the sentence that we have already. She, no matter what she gets, it's gonna be light at the end of the tunnel for her. Well, we're gonna spend the rest of our lives without Daunte. We're never gonna see Daunte again.
The moment that we heard guilty on the manslaughter 1, emotions, every single emotion that you could imagine just running through your body at that moment. I kind of let out a yelp because it was built up in the anticipation of what was to come while we were waiting for the last few days.
All right, so maybe not true justice, but at least accountability in this situation. We're joined now by Justice Correspondent Candace Kelley. Good morning to you, Candace, and it is a good morning for people who wanted justice in this situation, or at least accountability. But throughout this trial, it appeared like things were looking good for the defense. So I'm wondering what your reaction was once you heard the verdict.
Well, good morning, Mike. I think that one of the things that everybody is thinking about is just the recording. And there's something that she just could not get around, that recording and her own admission that she had done something wrong. So I think it was inevitable that at least on the manslaughter count 2 charge, that she would be convicted of that. I think one of the other things that was done incorrectly by the defense was this idea that even if she had used the gun, she would have been justifiable, whether it was a mistake or not. And I think that that was something that really muddied the waters for the jury. What they should have really stuck with was this taser and whether or not that was a mistake. But they went beyond that, and they made this, created this notion that she could have killed him. But when she took the stand, she said that she was not threatened by him. When she took the stand, she said that she would not have even stopped him had it not been for the person that she was training. So I think that there was so much that went wrong on so many levels. So I wasn't surprised. I was more surprised about the first-degree manslaughter count, but that second degree, when it comes to negligence, she indeed was negligent, and the recording showed that.
So yeah, tell us why you were surprised about the first-degree manslaughter charge, because the jury actually decided on the second-degree manslaughter charge, we understand, on Tuesday, came to a decision on the first-degree manslaughter charge yesterday. What do you make of that?
Well, I think that when we look at all the details, one of the things that they asked for as a jury was the gun. They wanted the gun to be released from the box that it was connected to. And I think that really that was the difference. That was the change for them to actually put themselves in the shoes of Kim Potter to really see what was going on in her mind. And I think that was the difference. They knew that she was negligent, right? Again, she admitted that on the recording herself. But was she reckless? In other words, was she reckless with the firearm? In addition to that, did she cause foreseeable bodily harm? And that's the threshold when we look at that first-degree manslaughter threshold. So when we look at that, I could see how that was slightly more difficult. But I think once they got that gun in their hand, looked at the difference between the taser and the gun, the weight, the size, the difference, the color, I think that there was too much going on for someone who was trained for 26 years to not know the difference. So I can see why that reckless degree stuck, but a couple of days after that first degree negligent threshold was met, Mike.
Hey, Candace, Kim Potter's attorneys, well, they had to go, I guess they had to do their job, tried to get her released until her sentencing on February 18th so she could spend time with her family. Of course, Daunte Wright will never be able to spend time with his family ever again, but she will be sentenced on February 18th. She'll find out her fate. What happens to her until then?
As you said, Mike, right now she's behind bars. She did ask for bail. One thing to remember is that as soon as this happened to Kim Potter, she went into the process of selling her house. So she actually lives outside of state, but this is something that her attorneys had to do, use due diligence to see that whether or not she could stay home and spend time with her family until February 18th when she's sentenced. Until that time, what the prosecution and the defense will be working on is a report, a background about Kim Potter to justify how long she should stay behind bars. Also on the sentencing date of February 18th of 2022, we're going to hear from people and loved ones and family, anyone who can speak on behalf of or against Kim Potter to determine this sentence. So we're looking at basically 11 to 15 years. That falls within the sentencing guidelines. But then we're also looking at Judge Chu to make a decision as to whether or not there have been any other charges that should stick with her in terms of these aggravated charges. Was she someone who did violate her oath? Was she someone who did violate her specific position? And did she put other people in danger? And that's what's going to be considered when we look at whether or not more years will be placed on those 11 to 15 years that are within the recommended sentencing guidelines. So a lot of preparation on both sides to determine how long she should stay behind bars.
And tell us how long she's facing. And as far as the things that Judge Chu will be considering is remorse and how sorry she is and everything that went down. Of course, they're going to be testimony from the family. And then I don't know if the judge will consider a mugshot of her smiling. I mean, this is the weirdest thing that I've seen of a convicted, somebody who was so remorseful on the stand, crying and so sorry or whatever. And then all of a sudden you see that mugshot of her smiling. It was just odd to me, Candace. I don't know if that'll come into play, but what did you think of that? And once again, give us the amount of time that she might be facing.
So she will be facing at least 11 to 15 years. Again, the judge can recommend otherwise. This picture, though, certainly, I think it is inevitable that it will come up. Because as you said, what counts in these equations when it comes to sentencing is somebody's remorse. In this picture, she does not look remorseful. In fact, she looks like she's giving she's giving a little bit of a side eye or a little bit of a smile to the fact that she really doesn't care. So I think that this is definitely something that is going to be coming up during her sentencing, because who smiles like this in a mugshot? Not someone who's remorseful, and that's certainly going to count. Yes, exactly, got convicted. This is definitely going to be held against her, and it should be held against her, because this is not workable when it comes to sentencing, and someone who said for the past year that she was remorseful, and then to have this particular picture show up is not going to bode well for her.
I'm sorry, Ken, I got to ask you one more question real quick. I'm sorry, producers, but I got to ask this because overall, when you look at this year alone, 3 high-profile cases involving the death of unarmed black men. We're talking about, of course, George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, and, of course, right now, Daunte Wright. All 3 of their murderers convicted. It ain't justice because those men will never come back. But are we starting to find out and starting to see a little bit more when it comes to accountability, when it comes to the deaths of us being in the street, of course, unarmed black people being in the streets?
Mike, I think one thing we have to remember is that these cases are indicative of just those cases, right? We do have accountability. We do have a little bit of justice. Of course, these people can't be brought back, but a little bit of justice and insight, a little hope down the line. But what we need to do is look at the root as to why these police officers stop these gentlemen to begin with, right? So we need better police training. So as you said, we have had these pivotal moments over the past year. There will be more pivotal moments to come, but they're going to be just that, in my opinion. They're just moments. They're case-by-case basis. We need to look at the whole system, dismantle it, because it's a fractured system. It's piecemeal. All these different police operations operating in their own way. We need one way for them to operate and to retrain them to understand what it's like to be black, and especially a black man living in America, and what it means to be stopped by the police, and what to do, and certainly what not to do when this happens, so that we don't see this as a regular from now on.
Yeah, we got to dismantle the whole police system, the whole judicial system. We saw some things happening in the courtroom that just didn't bode well for black people at all. Justice Correspondent Candace Kelley, we appreciate you. Merry Christmas Eve to you. Enjoy your holidays. We'll check back in with you a little bit later on in the next hour, though.